Sneaker Fiend TEES.
I'm Chris, man.
Sneaker Fiend TEES.
That's what it is. Sneaker Fiend, they're a little shy, man. You always notice the creative brothers are a little shy, but man, let's talk about real quick though. Sneaker Fiend TEES. What they about?
Sneaker Fiend TEES is about culture. It's about hip hop heads. It's about sneaker culture. It's about brothers getting their fresh on. So what we did, came up with a concept that we feel to really match the sneaker heads. There's a lot of companies, we felt it was holes in the game, so we here to plug them. We here to plug the holes.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Face from Flight School TV, and I got the honor and privilege to sit here with my man Big D from Sneaker Fiends.
What's good, God?
Man, it's a beautiful thing to be able to sit here with you, man. I want to say that.
Pleasure.
You know what I'm saying? And this is one of them interviews that I say like I'm real selfish about. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of them people that still care about where things came from. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm one of the few people that still care about the history of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And not saying that you out the game, but I'm just saying that you've been doing it for so long that you can speak on the history.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So I just want to start with letting people know who you are and basically your full story. Like, like you from Chicago originally?
From Chicago.
You lived in Chicago your whole life?
Well, you know, I was actually born in St. Louis, moved here when I was 4.
Okay.
So how can I claim St. Louis when I've been here since I was 4?
Right.
So I was raised here, South Side.
On the South Side?
South Side.
So how would you describe your childhood growing up? Like did you had both parents? Y'all had to come from a decent family?
Come from a decent household. You know, mom and dad was divorced, but I had a stepdad that stepped in. Hell of a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Raised me to a man. And, you know, he worked at the steel mill. Mom was a nurse. So, you know, in my neighborhood, I was considered, you know, I'm an only child.
Right.
So, you know, think about a steel mill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He was making a little money, so everybody in the neighborhood probably thought you was spoiled.
We had the Cadillac in the neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but we still live, you know, we still live in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I come from an environment that 85% of my friends are the people that I grew up with in that neighborhood.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was a different time, a different era. So we really had a sense of community, a sense of family.
Right.
You know, so being an only child, but I got like 10 brothers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like real, not blood related, but 10 brothers.
But y'all done been through the struggle together.
Been through the fire. You know what I'm saying? 10 brothers that's like, mess with him if you want to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, this interview for a lot of people, it's gonna be a awakening moment. You know what I'm saying? To your name that's been solidified out here for a long time now. You know what I'm saying? But it's still gonna be an awakening moment for some. And I basically want to let people know, like, I'm sitting here with Big D from Sneaker Fiends. If you don't know who that is, you're about to find out a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? He was basically doing a lot of shirts, hats, everything you can think of in a major way. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't just a local thing. This was a big thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, everywhere you look, if you was on BT, MTV, whatever you was looking at, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the man behind a lot of them designs that some of your favorite rappers was wearing, some of your favorite TV show hosts was wearing. This is him right here. So I understand that part. But back to what you were saying. So you grew up in, like, this is, and what I'm talking about is pre-internet. You know what I'm saying? Because we got so many shorties that live on the internet. Like, oh, where he at now? This was before the internet, when a lot of crazy shit was going on. A lot of money was being made.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? There was money everywhere, and this was before the internet. So understand what we're doing here. It
was the beginning of the internet, because my introduction into the fashion game was pre-internet. But Sneaker Fiend itself didn't start to 2006, so that was at the cusp where the internet was starting to become the beast that we know it to be now.
Right. So I wanna continue with where you had just left off. Like you were saying that you grew up on the South Side around the low end, and there was a sense of community.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
so.
Definitely.
At what point in time, you know, because a lot of youth in Chicago still to this day we grow up and we don't see fashion as one of our options or our way out. We grew up looking up. I can't speak for everyone. I'm just speaking in general terms and from my experiences personally. But we grew up looking up to the dope boys. You know what I'm saying? All those people get money. You know what I'm saying? Those type of people, the ball players, the rappers. You know what I'm saying? But what steered you in the direction where you wanted to approach fashion instead of going down that avenue?
You know, for me, it was about it wasn't necessarily fashion to start. It was about business.
Okay.
Right. So you know, I played sports, but I wanted to be a businessman.
Right.
You know, I had opportunities. You know, I was blessed to go to college. Had opportunities to play Division I football.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't my passion.
Right. Right.
You know, so luckily for me in my neighborhood, there was a lady by the name of Miss Salas. She owned her own clothing store. So I would stand in front of her building every day waiting for her to come home.
Yeah.
Right? And she would just look at for about the first 2 months, she would just wave me off. She would just look at me. Because when she got out of her car, I would bombard her with a million questions. About fashion, about business.
Right.
Business in general. Like how I get into business, right? What it takes to be in business. She would just wave me off. Because, you know, the woman was tired. She had kids of her own. Right. She coming home from work, and here go this guy standing there. She can't even get out of the car. It wasn't no hello. It was straight to da-da-da-da-da. How I do this? How do you do this? Whoa, 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 whoa. Right?
Right.
So after about being persistent for a couple of months, she finally just laid it out for me. She was like, okay, this is what you need to do. So you need to go get you a tax ID number. Here's how you get a tax ID number. Here's wholesalers. Once you get the tax ID number, now go to these wholesalers, right? So she just laid the blueprint out for me, right? She told me how to mark the merchandise up I was buying, right? So she was like, turnkey. So you turn it. If you pay the XYZ, you turn that 3 times. So what you paid for it times 3 is your price point.
Yeah, so you breaking down the game. I'm learning as you talking.
But she giving this to a 16-year-old.
Right. But see, that's a beautiful thing right there, because a lot of people don't have that person that they can go to with these questions. Right now we got the internet. So if you ain't making it right now, like, you just not trying. Yeah, you have no excuse.
I come from the day where you had to go to the library.
Right, you had to get your library card and read books.
You had to go to Harold Washington is a hell of a resource, but people don't use it.
Right.
To this day, even with the internet, if you was to go to Harold Washington, it's so much information, because it's so much that the internet don't cover. And when people get mistaken, what worked for me ain't gonna necessarily work for you. Right. So I can sit on YouTube all day and tell you, well, this is what I did, and 75% of it, you know, ain't gonna work.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody living and walk a different path.
Right, but it's not gonna work because I'm not telling you the true story.
Right.
I watch people say, well, I started my brand with $70, and look at me now. Yeah, but it was a lot more to that story.
Right.
But you leading the kids astray with your $70 story.
Right. That's like that's like the rapper that glorify him selling dope, but don't tell about the times he lost his fam in the streets and he done his boy locked up for all these years. You know what I'm saying? Skipping over all the bad steps that you had.
Well, it's not even the bad steps.
Well, the learning
details. No, it's the real details.
Right.
The details of someone helped you. Someone had a printing set up in their basement that they let you come in and use for free.
Right.
You had a place to sell it already for free.
Yeah.
Like
people hate admitting those type of things.
Yeah, you got to give up the full story. It's just like if you go back to any interview I've ever done, especially written, I always bring up Miss Salas because that's my beginning.
Right.
Like if she never said, "Hey, this is what you do. This is where you go."
Right.
Like she pointed me in the directions because I would go buy stuff wholesale.
Right.
You know, people in my neighborhood thought I was a booster. Because I would have this merch. Like literally, I had a place where I used to go get Tommy Hilfiger and Jabot irregulars. Right. So if anybody know what an irregular is,
that's the stuff that
split tag.
Yeah, that's the stuff that didn't get made the
right.
The
There
right
might be
way.
a stitch, maybe off.
Right.
Right. But I used to be able to go get Tommy Hilfiger when Grand Poobah was wearing Tommy Hilfiger and it wasn't in the hood. I asked the baby to go buy Tommy Hilfiger on 12th and Wabash. It used to be a place on 12th and Wabash. Anybody that's old know about Mike Stales. But on the other side of the street where Dunkin' Donuts is at right now, it was a wholesaler and they had paper in the window. So if you didn't know what it was, you would never know it was in there.
Right.
And you couldn't just walk in there. But when you went in there, they had your bowls, Coca-Cola clothing, Tommy Hilfiger. They had all this stuff, but you had to buy in bulk. And it was wholesale. And you had to have a tax ID number to get in the door.
So that's how you actually got your start by
buying and reselling clothes.
Okay, so that was your start of the business.
That's how I got introduced to the business.
Okay.
How I got into the t-shirt game was I went to college, right? Once I decided I wasn't gonna play ball, I had to figure out what I was gonna do in school, right?
Right.
So at this time, things was hard at home. You know, the folks, my old man, what ended up happening was they went out on strike. So the money, they was on strike for about 6 months. So the money wasn't coming in like it was. So right at the time I go to college, they go on strike, right? But luckily for me, I had worked for Baldwin Ice Cream my senior year in high school. Prior to going away to school, they laid me off. But the manager said, look, I'm gonna lay you off 2 weeks before you go to school. Go apply for your unemployment check. Right? So she threw me an alley-oop. I didn't even realize it, right? Because we didn't get along. Me and this lady never got along.
But she gave you that key advice, though.
2 weeks, it wasn't the advice. She said, look, I'm laying you off. Go apply for your unemployment. You'll get unemployment your whole first semester while you're in school. It wasn't no advice. She told me what this is. She gave me a gift. She gave me, she gift wrapped, she put a bow on it. Like, here you go. Take this, here you go, right? She didn't have to, I don't know what made her do it. Once again, me and this lady never got along. Never saw eye to eye. But something in her heart said, hey, here, right? So now me being the dummy that I was, I went to college in Alabama. I'm balling. I get $530 a month. I live in a dorm eating a calf. I'm rich. So I'm blowing all the money.
As it's coming in.
As it's coming up, spending every penny, right? Jordans, I'm fresh, whatever, right? So now I get the letter, hey, it's your last unemployment check, player.
Oh, it's grand time.
What you gonna do now, right? So now I'm in Alabama. I ain't got a car. My water finna get cut off, right? So what you gonna do? So I looked around. So now I'm in panic mode, but I'm thinking about it. Right? I got this last check. What I'm gonna do? School bookstore sucked. I didn't own not one piece of paraphernalia from the school because the bookstore sucked. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make my own A&M t-shirt. So what I did was, it was a dude from Detroit named Tony that could draw. Took a Run DMC poster. I'm telling y'all my age now. Took a Run DMC poster. And everywhere there was Run DMC, our school mascots was Bulldogs. I had Tony draw a Bulldog. Everywhere there was Adidas, I had Tony put the Alabama A&M logo. Right? We left everything else the same. The gold chains, everything else the same. Right? Yellow Pages. Y'all don't know nothing about the Yellow Pages. I don't even think they exist anymore.
Yeah, them the books that used to get delivered to people's cribs so you can find people numbers, businesses. Now you can just go on your phone and just find
Google
it real quick, Google it real quick. But we speaking, like I said, a different time, a different day.
Pre-internet.
Yeah.
So I go through the Yellow Pages, find a local printer in town. Go get 50 shirts made with half my unemployment check. Right? Now, here's the thing, and I didn't think about this until I was an adult. At no time did I even consider not being able to lose, that I was going to not make my money back.
Yeah, but that was a big risk.
It was a risk. But I had no fear. I was so ignorant that I had no fear that if I lose this, here go half my money.
Yeah.
Right, this the last check. It's the very last check. I hadn't saved a penny.
You was probably, in the moment, I can imagine you was probably excited about getting it started.
Fail wasn't an option, though.
Right.
Failure wasn't an option. Failure didn't even equate.
Right.
These things don't equate. If you don't tell nobody your dream or what you're trying to do, most of the time, failure never become the option because someone else tells you about failure. We blind to failure most of the time.
Yeah.
It's like a little kid. The little kid is fearless.
Yeah.
If you got some little kids, a little niece or nephew, they'll jump off the bed. They'll jump off the dresser.
Yeah.
They'll do whatever. They'll fight you.
Straight up. Straight up.
A kid has no fear.
Yeah.
Right? Fear is a learned. It's learned. It's a learned reaction.
Yeah.
Right? Or somebody tell you, you know, you can lose everything. At that time, until I was an adult, I thought back like, what if I lost that check?
Yeah.
Right?
But
so
you didn't?
I didn't. I get the 50 shirts made. Right? I could see them visually to this day. So on the front, it had the Run DMC, the Bulldogs dressed up at Run DMC. On the back, it said Alabama A&M University. Right?
Yeah.
We called our school the Hill. So on the back, it said The Hill. And then it had the A&M logo in the center. Right? I get the 50 shirts. And I'm bogus because I put them on gray. It wasn't even heather gray. It was like a flat gray. Like I don't even know what to call.
I thought you would have played the safe like with a white shirt.
No, I went with these gray shirts. Right.
Oh, okay.
It worked out, but in retrospect, it was a dumb move. Right. I went with these gray shirts, so I got 50 of them made. So now when I get them made, I'm gonna even lie. That's when the fear set in. So I didn't even want to sell them initially. Right. Like I was sitting on them for like 3 or 4 days. And one of my guys was like, yo, what's in that box? And I was like, some shirts. He bust the box open. Look, like, oh shit, what's this? Like I'm selling them. He was like, how much? $10, right? It cost me $278.
Yeah.
To make them. It's like, give me $10, right? He buy the shirt. He wear it the next day. Never look back. So
he must have been like a football player.
He wasn't he was just my guy. He was just one of my guys in the dorm. Like we had, I want to say we had a math class together.
Yeah.
So he came by because he missed class to see the notes.
Right.
And he just, what's in the box? We just talking. He said
that kicked off the run that you eventually started.
That the campus he wore the shirt. Once again, the bookstore sucked. He wore the shirt. Other kids now saying, yo, where you get that from?
Right.
He telling them Chicago.
Yeah.
They used to call me Flake. Flake from Chicago. Flake got them.
Yeah.
Now, people just come into my dorm room. Like, yo, you got them shirts?
So after that order, you followed up immediately with a second?
Immediately with a second. Because I only had 50 shirts.
Right.
I'm on a college campus. There's only 50.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's only 50. So now I go right back to the store. I go right back to the printer, get 100.
What was the process? What was the process then at that time to get cause we know graphic designs, like you can draw stuff on the laptop, on your tablet. What was the process of even getting an image to a shirt?
So back then you had to use the X-Acto knife and what's called vellums. So vellum is like if you go and when you was in school, when you saw your teacher put the put something on a projection screen, and she put it on the projector, the clear paper that it came on, that's also called vellum. So what you do, you take the vellum, and it's called a double you make a double negative. But you had to cut that out by hand. Everything had to be cut out by hand. It was a tedious process.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Yeah, it was tedious. It wasn't like now, if anybody know anything about printing, you could just use rip film,
right,
color separation on the computer, print it out. Now then, it was a tedious. Everything was like stacked on top of one another. So you had to, if you had 4 colors, that meant 4 vellums. You see what I'm saying? So you had to build on top of each other.
Right.
You know, I give you this. I hate to reference this, but I'm a reference it. When your man was talking, when you was talking to the guy in the Bay Area.
FBCC.
Remember how he talked about cutting those patches?
Yeah.
That's almost the exact process of building a vellum.
Okay.
To burn the image.
Yeah.
To burn the image to make a T. So
after that first 50 shirt run, you just never look back after that point?
I never look back. It's so from that point, I get the first 50, then I go get 100 made. Then I go get 200 made. Then I go get 500 made. Right? So now I go from my last check was like $278 to 10,000 cash.
Damn.
And this in the 80s.
That's crazy.
To 10,000 cash in a dorm room off TEES. And what ended up happening, what was really crazy, the gentleman that ran the bookstore started giving me catalogs to companies that he couldn't order from. So he had all the dope stuff, but he, for whatever reason, he couldn't use it. So he started giving me these companies. He started giving me their catalogs. So I started ordering better merchandise from these companies.
That normally the college would go directly through.
The college would go directly to him.
And now you going directly.
I'm going directly to him.
That's cold.
I'm going directly to him. Now, once again, he gave me the information. He was giving me this information.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't do nothing with him. And he was frustrated because his hands was tied.
Right.
Now, at the time, the school wasn't on top of their trademark or nothing. So I never got a cease and desist. They never bothered me. You know, I remember one time, so I had a balance. So I went to register for school. I had a balance. And, I go to register. So I get to the cashier. She's like, yo, you got a balance. So you can't register. So it's the spring semester. I'm like, how much is the balance? She said, $4,800. I said, okay, I'll be back. So I go home, get $5,000. Come back. Pay the balance. Pay for the following semester. She said, your mama sent you down here with all this money? I said, my mama don't pay for me to go to school.
Yeah.
She said, what? She said, well, how did you come up with this cash? And I literally said, so we was in the gym, and we was registering in our gym.
Right.
We was on the stage. And I literally turned around and I said, look behind me. And I pointed, and like every other person had on something I made. She said, you the t-shirt man? I said, yeah, that's me. She was like, get out of here. I was like, yeah. And from that point on, her name was Miss Battle. I'll never forget her. She cleared half the balance. I was living off campus. She gave me a meal card. Like literally, till I graduated, that lady took care of me every semester.
Man, that's
like you wouldn't believe. Like things that people will say can't be done.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe in what can't be done, because she moved mountains. She turned over stones only because I was helping myself.
Yeah, like that's one thing that a lot of people overlook, I would say. You know what I'm saying? Is the fact that if you got a bunch of naysayers that say you can't do something, or like one thing that a lot of, I'll say majority of people is gonna respect. They might not like you personally, but if they see that you out here working and you putting your best foot forward every day and you consistently doing that, eventually you'll win people love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if they start off as haters, eventually they'll start respecting your hustle in a way, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's a crazy story, man. Just to hear that, you know what I'm saying, that you was in college and able to do that for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You did have the information given to you, but a lot of people got information now and don't use it. So it's all about, it's not about like the opportunities or this came up or this came up. No, it's what did you do with them opportunities when they cross your path? And it seemed like every time something came across, you grabbed it and ran with it.
You got to be hungry. Yeah, like you know, most people want something given to them. Most people want an easy route. You know what I'm saying? Most people, right? For me, I like nice things. Like I grew up as always you know, people can say what they want, but if you go back to my high school, if you go back to college, nobody would never say Big D wasn't fresh. You know what I'm saying? Most people that meet me, the first thing they do is look at my feet. Yeah. Because I was always the first with it. Yeah. Always. Historically. I mean, I put some pictures up on my Instagram when I was in college. Air Max 1 in 87. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Jabos. Like, this is a true story. I was in a barbershop and we was arguing about Jabos. And I told my man, I said, man, I've been wearing Jabos since 84. He said, Jabos weren't even out in 84. I said, yes. I said, you're lying. They were. But you only can get them at Davis for Men and Digby and Crothers. Digby and Crothers was in Water Tower. Davis for Men was in Water Tower. But you had to have that bag to shop at these places, right? But nobody was wearing Jabos. They was $14.95 on the table. $14.95. So it was a guy, I was in a summer program. He was in the program with me. I did not remember this guy. Even when he spoke up, I didn't remember him. He said, no, dude was the first person I ever seen in Jabos. I said, what you, I said, huh? He said, you don't remember me from the program at Malcolm X. I was like, yo, you was in that program? He was like, yeah. He was like, you was the first person I ever seen with Jabos.
Hey, but on a side note, like, you was just talking about how you kept your shoes on point. Like, I want to take a second just to talk about that aspect of the game, because right now we know the online raffle system to get shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be a shoe that drop in Hong Kong. Yeah. And all you got to do is jump on your phone and be on time for that little raffle. No. What was the process of getting shoes?
It was no process, because the only person you had to compete with was the drug dealer, was the dope boy, right? So you literally can go anywhere and cop any shoe you wanted, right? Now, there were situations, like I'm from 58. You go on 63rd, the BDs might have bought every pair of Jordans. Literally. They go in the store, scare the manager, you better not sell one shoe. They would come in there and drop 20, 30 grand on every Jordan. So you already knew don't go to 63rd. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? 55th and Wentworth, don't go there. The GDs got that store locked up. Yeah. The BDs got 63rd, right? But then you had Cisco's on 47th. You had, I come up in the day when you go to Jewtown. Yeah, yeah. You go to Jewtown, you have Cisco's up on the second floor.
That's what Dave, when I did an interview with Dave Jeff, and Dave Jeff spoke on that.
Right, so you had these places. There was a million places to get the shoe. You just had to be able to afford the shoe. You know what I'm saying? Back then, you could be able to order from eBay. Right. You know, it was no not getting the shoe. Right. You know,
that, it wasn't like this craze where everybody like super limited drops.
Nah. It wasn't shoes everywhere.
Right. But you had a chance.
You had a shot at the shoe. But now, if you shop a lot, you getting your shoe. You know what I'm saying? Everything in life is about relationships. Yeah. Facts. To this day, I don't care what shoe drop, I can get the shoe. Because it's based on relationships. Right. It's not based on, I don't care what the Nike app, what the Adidas app talking about. But if you haven't fostered the correct relationships, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's why I tell people all the time, man, do not underestimate the, like, you can invest in a lot of things, but you can never go wrong with investing in relationships with good people. Like, I think investing in people, listen, is a better investment than short term.
Let me cut you off. 3 cookies from Subway will go a long way to a cashier at Foot Locker that's making $7 to $8 an hour.
Yeah, that small little gesture.
3 cookies. Number 1, you getting everything you want for life. Yeah. You go in there with a number 1 from McDonald's. You go in there with that Big Mac meal. Yeah. You getting whatever you want. Something that simple. Something that simple. 3 cookies from Subway. 3 chocolate chips from Subway lock you down a shoe. Yeah. But most people don't have the common sense. We just take. Right. It's an old term called quid pro quo. You wash my back, I'll wash yours. Most people don't get it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Most people, they say, how you get shoes? And my question is, how you don't get shoes? Right. The question is, how you don't get shoes? You know what I'm saying? It don't take. You know what I'm saying? That's relationships. Life is about relationships. Yep. No man is an island. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves. If you don't foster the right relationship, you can't hang it up. Put it like this. I've been shopping with Vail since he worked at Tony Sports.
Yeah, shout out to VDOT, man. That's my
Diego, Vail, Big Shining, Dave. They was at Tony's. Yeah. I've been shopping at Tony's since Tony used to have an ad in the Source. It was a hand-drawn ad. That's how I found him.
He spoke about that when I did an interview with, make sure y'all check that out, the Tony Fernandez, the Tony Sports interview, that's on Flight School page. And he spoke about that, and he was telling me that when he put that ad out, he said he was getting overwhelmed with calls.
Yeah.
To the point, because that was the power of that magazine back then.
In the Source.
You throw an ad in the back.
I was in Alabama.
Yeah.
And I discovered them in the Source. As soon as I come home, first thing I do, I'm going to go see what this store about.
Yeah.
Go to Tony's. All of them working there. Then I just continue to shop. And now you just foster relationships because they fighting for customers because they working on commission.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now you start a relationship. Me and Vail had a relationship because we both wanted to do soft. So boom, right there, that's already a connection.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now back then you used to be able to go back and get your shoe 3 weeks before it came out. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to be on the south side. How'd you get those? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks before the shoe drop, you already got it.
Yeah.
People lined up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
ain't no rush. I got the shoe already.
Right.
But most people, they just like, once again, we takers.
Right. Yeah.
We takers, and all this is an exchange of energy. So you got to give something sometime to get something. You know, if you want it, I ain't talking about you. You know, don't tip them $20. Oh my God.
Right.
You know, now this before people was taxing on shoes. None of that. This is just somebody saying, okay, they're gonna guarantee that you get your 13.
Right.
You know.
So how did you go? Like getting back to your story, how did you go from selling shoes at your college to having people on BET and getting all these interviews with these well-known magazines and different sites about kicks and all that stuff? Like, how did it escalate to that point?
So what happened was, you finish school, you drink the Kool-Aid, right? So I went to corporate America, right? Really wasn't for me, I figured out how to make money without a boss. But you're still in corporate America because you think this is what you supposed to do when you finish school.
Right.
So one day, that was getting old, I'm still buying kicks, but now I can't find apparel to match.
Right.
That I like.
Right.
Right? Nike, one of their biggest issues, they can't make apparel. They don't sell clothes. They're a shoe company.
Right.
So there was nothing to fill in the gap. So one day I just said, I'm going to make my own shirt.
To go with your kicks?
To go with my kicks. I'm going to make my own shirt. And from doing that, I made a couple of shirts, and just for myself. I didn't even look at it at that point as a business yet.
Right.
I just made a couple of shirts, and then people started inquiring about the shirts. So when people started inquiring about the shirts, I saw there was a business opportunity. Because at that point I had got away from the business.
Right.
I saw it was a business opportunity. I'm like, oh shit, like people really feeling this.
Yeah, I might be able to make some money off this.
I might be able to do something with this. So from that point, I go back to the lab, and because prior to this, brand building wasn't a part of the conversation.
Right.
Building a brand, I just sold apparel. I just sold tees. It wasn't a brand. Like it didn't have a name.
Right.
It just had whatever tag I printed the shirt on.
Right. So it might say Gildan or something.
No, nigga, it was Hanes.
Yeah.
And jerseys.
Right.
Augusta tees. Like whatever blank I found. Or whatever blank the printer had.
Right.
Because at that point I didn't even understand the game to even understand private label.
I mean, you had experience selling merch, but you didn't have experience in the aspect of branding.
Of building a brand. That's a whole different skill set. Then building a brand and selling tees is two different things. Anybody can sell tees.
Right.
The man outside that's selling socks, bundles of socks, can sell tees.
Right.
But to build a brand is a whole different skill set.
Right.
So from that point, it was like, okay, let's go back to the lab, which was the library. Right. So I went and got as much information as I could about what it took to build a brand.
Which is, I want to make sure that we take time to make sure that our audience is understanding what's going on here. Like, you got to understand that Big D wanted to do something, did his proper research on what he wanted to do, then executed. Not like it don't seem like you just jumped out here and didn't know anything. And it was just like I'm gonna figure it out on the fly. It seemed like each step that you describing to me, it seemed like you like you were saying, Miss Salas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you asked her questions because you wanted to know. You wanted to do your homework.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So you know what you about to get into. And each step, it seemed like you did your research. Then you jumped in it and you were successful. Probably because you did the research.
You got to do the due diligence. If you don't do the due diligence, anything can hit, right? Anything can be hit, right? But if you want to have longevity, you got to do the due diligence. And there's something else I forgot to tell you. So along the way, right, I would do these things. So first I would do barber tees, right? So say if I was unemployed and I wanted to make some money, I would just make barber tees, right?
What's a barber tee?
T-shirts for barbers.
Oh, okay.
Right?
With their name on it and stuff like that?
So it was a brand. So like the first brand was Platinum Barbers. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like Platinum Barbers. They had a clipper. You know, platinum. The word platinum was hot. It had the clipper. It was a dope design, and I would just go around and sell it. Then I had another design. So it was a dollar bill, and then in the middle of the dollar, it had a barber cutting hair, right?
Yeah.
So I would do these designs, and I would take them to barbershop. So every day I would pick a route, right? So like one day it'd be, I'm just go straight down 79th Street. And I'm hitting every barbershop down 79th. Or I'm gonna go down State, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna go to the West Side. And I would just take these tees in the barbershops and sell them to barbers, right?
But you knew your target audience. You know
it was a target audience, right? But then what I would do, this when my name started to really buzz in the city.
Yeah.
I would do my own All-Star Weekend tees, right? So say All-Star Weekend in LA, All-Star Weekend in Philly. I would do my own shirt, right? So I would do my own shirt, go to that town, and try to move 1,000 to 2,000 shirts Friday to Monday.
Oh, you a real hustler.
Hand to hand.
This ain't no fake. This ain't for play.
And this is when my name starts to really ring in the city, because everybody that came to All-Star from Chicago would come back talking about, dude was out there killing them people. Dude was out there in the middle of the street. Like I remember we was in Philly. We had the street blocked off, literally. We on South Street, right? Not South Street, but we on Broadway. So Broadway, they had the Spectrum, and then they was building a new facility. So in the Spectrum, they was doing the rookie All-Star game. This was the first year they did the rookie game, the rookie challenge. Yeah. So we was in front of the gas station, literally, with the shirts in our hand. We looked up, we was engulfed with people and had the cars backed up 6 blocks selling shirts, right? The NBA police pull up on us, right? Now at this point, I don't know nothing about the NBA police.
Yeah, I ain't never heard that still right now.
The NBA licensing, right? So the head of NBA licensing pull up on us, right?
I know they was salty. They was missing all that bread.
So look, the greatest part of this whole story is we had literally 24 shirts of the first batch left. They got confiscated. It was 24 shirts.
But yeah, you was down to your last.
I was down to that was the first batch.
Oh, that was the first batch.
The rest of the stuff was back at one of my buddies that live in Philly at his house. Yeah. Matter of fact, he was on his way with the re-up.
Oh, okay.
He was en route to us with the re-up because we sold out so quick that we didn't believe it. NBA, the licensing, the head licensing lawyer for the NBA pull up, right, with the police. They see my license plates. They call, this is crazy, they call police from Illinois jurisdiction. So they actually have with them police from every jurisdiction. So no matter where you from, they can ticket you. Yeah. They can ticket you right there on the spot.
You had it busting. It had to be, because they ain't gonna mess with nobody that ain't doing nothing.
We were so sloppy. This right-handed guy, we had boxes everywhere. Like we couldn't even, it was only 2 of us. Yeah. It was just me and my man Zeph. We can't even break down the boxes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we trying to keep up with the people, so it's boxes. We looked crazy. Yeah. We told on ourselves. you know what I'm saying? Like, but we got engulfed so quick that we couldn't even respond because it's only 2 of us, and we ain't trying to let a penny go by. Yeah, yeah. Right. So they come confiscate the shirts, right? So so I was like, since you gonna take my shirts, you finna give me some game. So the man told me how to beat the NBA. Like I asked him so many questions that in the process, he told me how to
get around
the license. He told me how to beat the licensing. Next year, All-Star in LA, we in front of the Staples Center. It's a bunch of dudes out there hustling. Like I had never seen as many people trying to hustle. They swarm. Everybody run except me.
Because you already knew the recipe.
The lady rolled down on me. She's like, we got him. I was like, you got nothing. So she was like, what you mean? I can't tell you his name right now. I still have his business card in my files. I told her to call him. Yeah. Call the man. Yeah. He came, looked at
Don't take my word for it. Call him, man.
No, he came. She didn't know why. First of all, she was shocked that I knew who he was. Man, he's an Indian guy.
And they come back to you doing your research once again.
He come back. He looked at the shirt. He said, ain't nothing we can do. Let him go.
Yeah.
And they was pissed.
Salty.
But everybody else ran. So the rest of the day, I just hustled in front of the Staples Center.
You had all that.
But everybody else.
You had all the real estate.
Everybody else, they had ran off. I'm just hustling in front of the Staples Center.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing they could do. Because he had Anil. His first name is Anil. I just cannot think of his last. If you Google his first name is Anil.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we add that part into
I can't think of his last name right now. But he had told me how to beat him.
Yeah.
He didn't realize what he was telling me.
Right. He was just answering questions.
But he told me how to beat him the next year. But what we did in Philly, what I realized is they go to end after 5 o'clock. They work 9 to 5. So at 5:30, we just switched locations. We came right by South Street. Started the dope line right back up,
and that made your name start buzzing and back at home because every time they had traveled, they'd be like,
see me.
Man, we seen Big D shirts on everybody.
But shout out to Rock Parker from the West Side. Rock used to throw a Chicago party every All-Star. He would throw a party. His brother would let me put a table in their party. Their party would be the Saturday night of All-Star.
Right.
I would put a table in their party. Anything I had left would blow out their parties that night. And that's really how I got back because everybody from Chicago came to Rock's party. And he was like, you know, it just started spreading. Like, man, people that didn't know me is acting like, man, you know, dude.
So your name started to ring bells in a lot of circles. At what point in time did you reach the point where, I mean, your merchandise was in like Foot Actions and all that stuff?
That comes maybe 4 or 5 years later, right? So I was in Finish Line, Man Alive, Karma Loop.
Yeah,
right?
Karma Loop was a big deal back then.
Yeah, Karma Loop was huge, right? So think about it. At that time, I had all 3 of them at once.
That's epic.
So I had Finish Line. What's really crazy about Finish Line, I had the first 15 feet of 572 Finish Line doors. So
meaning
when you walk in a store,
when you first walk in,
my merchandise was the first thing you saw. It greeted you at the door.
And how many stores?
572. It was 100 Man Alives. I had 2 windows and all 100 Man Alives.
And you understand what's going on here?
This went on for like 3 years.
So you was I think we skipping a step. Like, which came first, the Foot Action, and I mean the stores, or was it the placements on TV?
Well, because of the stores, the placements on TV came. So
okay.
So I got to shout out Diego.
Shout out to Diego, man.
Diego was a buyer at Finish Line, and Finish Line was starting to change over and go urban. Right now, at the time, I think Diego had some more people lined up that he was trying to help.
Yeah.
Get his Finish Line.
I mean, not to cut you off, but I think, like, I just want to say, we need more people that's like that.
Yeah.
That when they see a door open, kick your foot in there, you know what I'm saying, and whisper to your family, like, hey, look, just slide through the back at this time, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got you. We need more people to bring us in.
Yeah, that and back to relationships.
Yeah.
Back to relationships. So Diego, you know, I kept knocking on his door like, D, what's up, man? Your man ain't making no move. What about me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it became to a point where I bugged him so much
Yeah.
That he said, okay, look, I'm gonna set up a meeting. So he set the meeting up. I had to go out to Indianapolis, right, and present to the buyers. Now it wasn't, just come on in.
Right.
Now I had to go out there and sell myself.
Yeah, but I mean, just getting to that.
But I would have never got to the table without his assist. Man. Like he really put me on his back and carried me to the table. Yeah. But the thing is, once you get to that table, he can't help you.
That opportunity.
He can't help you.
You do.
He can't help you in that room. And the other thing you don't want to do in that room is make him look bad.
Right.
Because now if you go into that room,
his name attached to you.
His name attached to you. This is what you bring?
Right.
Right. So now he don't have a shot to open the door for nobody else.
Right.
If you
fumble the ball.
If you fumble the ball. So you got to go in there and do what you need to do.
So in that meeting, how did you approach that meeting? Like, how did you prepare for it? And how did you, when you got in the room, like, did you present like a certain amount of the designs? Like, what did you show them that made them say, we need this in our store?
So what it is, so I think I took 8 different tees, right? I took 8 different looks. And so when I went in, it's a presentation. Right. So, I gave them a line sheet. I gave them my line sheet, my price point, and then they want to know the story. What's the story? Right. What's the story behind what you're doing? So I gave them my story. But what most importantly is, and that's why I stress the library, no matter what you do, it's a vocabulary and it's a language. And if you don't know the language, you can't communicate with the people.
Yeah, because you can't go in these rooms speaking like a hood nigga. You got to go in there and speak their language.
You got to speak that. And it's not even about being a hood nigga.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you got to understand numbers and these words that they understand.
Right. It's a language. It's a vocabulary. Right, no matter what you do. If you're a hood nigga, it's a vocabulary that comes with being a hood nigga. Right. If you're a school teacher, it's a vocabulary that come with that. If you're a policeman, it's a vocabulary that come with that.
And once again, do your research and understand when you're going in these places and you're going to talk to these people, prepare yourself.
Yeah, because 5 minutes into a conversation, they can figure out whether or not you
worth their time.
You worth their time, or do you even
got your stuff together?
Right? Because when you're doing business with a Fortune 500 company, it's not what you think. Mm-hmm. This ain't hand delivering 10 shirts to your boy store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't that.
Right.
They give you a manual the size of a Bible, right? And their whole goal is to keep as much of your money as they can. So you have to understand the business aspect of this. Not only just the vocabulary. Not only why should we do business with you? First of all, can you even deliver? Can you deliver what we want? Right. Because they're not ordering 200 shirts.
Right. They in the thousands.
They're in the thousands. And you got a window to deliver by. And it's a certain way it has to be delivered. It's a certain way it has to be presented. Can you do that? Right? Can you do it? You can't go, your boy can't be printing these heat transfer in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement, right.
No, this is a whole nother game.
Right.
You know, this is a whole nother game, a whole nother facet of business. A lot of times when I be looking at companies and I be looking at, especially locally, and I be like, they have no idea what's ahead. Yeah. Like I hear all this big talk and the things that they want to do, and I'll be like, are you truly prepared to do this? Right,
because you're a person that actually been through it.
I've been.
So you're not speaking from the sidelines. You speaking from in the game.
I've been in the fire pan.
Right.
I ain't had to stand in front of these people. Right. You standing in front of these people. It's only there's 3 people in the room. My man that I took with me, Diego, we the only people of color in the room. Everything else in the room don't look like us.
And you finesse that opportunity. And
it's not about finesse.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't finesse that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you made the most of that opportunity.
You have to be able to have a clear vision, a clear way to deliver your vision, and a clear way to communicate the vision so someone else can understand it that's not from your culture. See, that's the most important part. Can I make you understand this, that when you're not from the culture? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like all of them were sneakerheads. Most of them were sneakerheads.
Right.
But I go in there, I got the 97s, 360 Dave Quality Meats on. Right? They looking at Diego like, oh shit.
Yeah, you brought a real one.
Yeah, cause they can't get them.
Right.
They looking at me like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, but this back to the sneaker culture. So right there, that already gave me some 10 minutes of their attention.
Right.
Because they looking at the shoe game like, okay.
So that's another thing that I feel like people need to understand. Hey, Juice, make sure you check them batteries and make sure they on point.
Yeah, they good.
But that's another thing that I want people to understand is that also with doing your research about what you're trying to do is also making sure that you look the part.
You gotta look the part.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't go in there if you're trying to do something in fashion, you can't walk in a room looking like a bum.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't go into a boardroom meeting where these people is wearing suits and ties and you come in sandals.
Well, you have to be appropriate because I didn't go in there with a suit on.
Yeah,
right?
no, but I'm saying, but you was approaching that meeting knowing what you...
It was business casual.
Right.
But I knew I had to get their attention.
Right, and like, so you came with some exclusive joints on your feet. Like they gonna recognize this.
I knew I had to get their attention.
Right.
Right. So I knew I had, okay, in life, right, when you meet anybody, it's the first impression. Everybody talk about the first impression, right? But that first impression will buy you some time.
Right.
Right? Because the person already assessing, is this person worth my time?
Right.
How much time am I giving? So boom, I bought myself 10 minutes.
Yeah. Right?
And that's how I break it up. I bought myself 10 minutes. So I know the next thing to come out of my mouth will buy me 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now this merchandise might get me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If they like the merchandise, now I got 20 more minutes. Now I got to convince them or assure them that I can deliver and promise what I'm telling them. You see what I'm saying? Because you got one mess up. All they're gonna give you is one. You ain't got 3 strikes.
Right.
This ain't baseball.
Yeah. You
got one.
Because you got probably a ton of people that's looking to take your spot as soon as you slip.
You fight. Listen, I'm Sneaker Fiend. Sneaker Fiend in essence is just me. They dealing with Nike. They dealing with Reebok. They dealing with Adidas.
People
they dealing with
waiting for you to
they
slip.
Dealing with it's people that don't even I shouldn't even be in the room.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because I'm taking shelf space from somebody. And that's the whole other part of this game people don't understand. That's why I'm taking shelf space from another Fortune 500 company.
And that's why I brought up the fact that you was in these stores and occupying this space, because that's one thing that's very important with retail locations is, you know what I'm saying, that space that you occupying is a big deal.
It's a big deal. Well, dig this. They wanted a 50% sell through before the first markdown.
Meaning, I don't understand them terms.
Exactly. Meaning this. So from the day that the product is delivered to them, I got 30 days to sell 50% of what I sold to them. The first markdown is coming in 30 days. So if they selling the shirt for $29.99, it's gonna go to $24.99 on the 30th day. So they want half of it gone before they discount it.
Right.
Right? That's your benchmark. That decides whether or not we're gonna continue to do business with you. Can we get rid of half this merchandise before we lose any money? Because now they starting to lose money.
Right.
Once they start, but that's just how their system works. Their system is set up 30 days after they receive the product, they already start discounting because it's something on its way in. So this has got to make room for what's coming behind it.
Right.
It's not sitting here for 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
We need to make room because something else is following. Right? So my sell-through percentage was 95% before the first markdown.
Damn.
Meaning they made more money on my product than most stuff they sold because they never had to mark it down.
That's Big D. Sneaker Fiends. Still going, man.
You know?
Still going.
And these are the things a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
Right? Once I talk about the vocabulary.
Right.
Like, I can't be going, so I can't now ask them, but what that mean?
Right.
I got to know what they talking about.
You're supposed to go in there knowing what
You're supposed to go in knowing what they talking about. Right? So when they tell you, we want 50% sell through before the first markdown.
Yeah,
you got to know what that means.
Right.
You got to know that in 30 days they're going to start discounting.
But I feel like...
Can we make they was only looking for a 50% return on investment.
Right.
So if you really break it down, if we can make a 50% return on investment before we start marking it down, we happy.
Right.
But with my product, because it was nothing. See, the other thing that I did that most companies don't do, that I was able to do by being a smaller company, was this. Diego, do me a favor. You the shoe buyer. Go get your top 6 SKUs that y'all gonna carry in the spring. He go get the top 6 SKUs. So how I sold them is, I can match those top 6 SKUs because every store you go into want a multiple at the cash register. But you got to understand this. You got to understand these things going in. No matter where you go to Foot Locker, you want some socks, you need a shoe cleaner, you want this insole, they're trying to sell you a multiple.
Right.
They want 2 items walking to the register. But most people don't understand these things.
Right.
I'm an automatic multiple.
Yeah. Because they're going to grab your shirt to go with their shoes.
Bang. It's a no-brainer. You see what I'm saying? It's a no-brainer.
I feel like, man, a lot of our youth right now, like you hear these stories about them, they getting stuck in these bad record deals, or they getting stuck in these bad contracts because they go into these meetings and don't prepare themselves for what's about to hit them, and end up in a fucked up deal that lasts for too long, and then sit there and cry about it.
They didn't do no research.
Yeah, so that, like, man, I was just watching.
Forget the research. They just didn't go get a lawyer.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Or
they just didn't have a lawyer look at the contract.
Right. Understand that. Don't fuck yourself over in the end. But just to continue on, like, so you start occupying all this different space in these different locations, and even on Karma Loop, this popping website that was mainly for like a lot of skateboarders. That was basically like
streetwear. It was the largest
skateboarder streetwear, like Zoomies is.
They got 1 million. They got 10.5 unique hits per day.
Yeah.
Meaning 10 million people every day came to their website.
Yeah, like I said, like that was Karma Loop was it for a nice little minute.
Yeah.
So like you made the most of every opportunity that came your way. At what point in time did you start seeing your stuff on TV? When you watching TV and you was like, oh shit, that's my shirt. So
what happened was, this is fun. So it's man, it's crazy. So when you talk about speaking things into existence, right? So me and my boy Zeph, we on the phone, we talking. He said, G, what you think you need next to go to the next level? I said, G, we need some TV time. Like, we need some product on television. He said, word? I said, yeah, that's what we need. Right hand of God. Next day, BET The Basement come on. Q45.
Oh, yeah.
Q45 got a shirt on. Literally, the exact next day. No, I'll take that back. So we had this conversation on Friday. Monday, he wore a shirt. Right? I'm like, he wore the 10 pair of kicks. Don't make you a... No, he wore I'm a Sneaker Fiend.
Oh, okay.
He wore the I'm a Sneaker Fiend tee, right? Literally. We Friday we have a conversation. Monday it happens.
Wow.
Really that fast, right? So I reach out to him on social media. He said, oh snap, watch the rest of the week. That was the exact words. Watch the rest of the week. That whole week he wore a Sneaker Fiend shirt every day.
How did that feel though? Like
it was surreal.
I don't make shirts, but I do got like little shirts that go along with the brand.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember like the first well-known person I seen wearing a Flight School TV shirt was Joyner Lucas.
Yeah.
And shout out to Platinum for that, man. He put him in that shirt for me, man. Shout out to Platinum. And then it was Leon Rogers, and I was just sitting here like, man, that's a cool ass moment right there. You know what I'm saying? And you was doing it on a different level because they was actually on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where millions of people is tuning in.
Yeah.
Like the people I'm speaking of, they took a picture in it.
Right.
But you speaking on, this Rap City in the basement, like fam doing a whole set in your shirt.
Yeah, it was you know, what happened was, so my stepdaughter called me. She said, Pops, your shirt on TV. Right? I said, Corky, quit playing. She said, no, the shirt on television. I said, take a picture of the TV.
Yeah.
Right? So she took a picture and texted it to me, right? So it was like, oh, snap, right? So, like, when I told you I called, I found him on social media, and he said, watch the rest of the week. So from that point, we started recording. So in my house, the VCR was set, or not even the VCR, but the TiVo, the DVR was set to record Rap City every day, right? So that was like the first run. So Rap City go down, right? So then BET used to do this making of the videos.
I remember that.
Right? So it was a Nelly video called Don't Step on My J's. And when they do a countdown to introduce the video. DJ Drama had on a 10 pair of kicks tee.
Damn.
Right? So that was like, but now because we're recording everything now.
Yeah.
So from the basement, now everything is set to record. And so we catching all these moments, right?
Yeah.
So I remember Hustle Simmons called me one day. Hustle called me twice. First time Hustle called me, he said, yo, D. He said, yo, man, this is crazy. I was in Orland in the finish line, and 2 Asian kids was fighting over your shirt. It was the last shirt. And he was like, it's crazy. He's like, yo, this is crazy because I know you, and these dudes in here fighting over your merchandise, right? So maybe 2 months later, Hustle called me again. This how lame I am. Hustle say, your T-shirt in the new Future video. I don't even know who Future is.
Yeah.
I'm like, who was Future?
All right.
He was like, I'll just send it to you. Right?
Which video was that?
It was Future and Chubby Baby.
Oh, okay.
It was his very first video.
Yeah.
Sean Garrett had on the Derrick Rose tee. Right? So it was just like, oh, snap. So this is starting to roll. But what had happened before that, it was this dude, Dale Coachman. I'll never forget him. He wrote for this online blog called Format. Format was kind of like Hype Beast, right? Yeah,
like the Hype Beast that we know of today.
But they didn't reach the level of Hype Beast.
Right.
So Dale had reached out.
And that was in 06, the one that you was just showing me.
Yeah, this was 06. Dale reached out and said, man, I want to do a piece on you. Like that was the first time. It was just like, oh shit.
That was your first interview.
That was my first interview. Like, it's coming together. Then the other aha moment was on Hype Beast. So Tiger had started wearing his Derrick Rose tee, right? So it was a Chicago Bulls script, like the Jordan rookie jersey. But it had Rose on the back. Instead of having an O, it had a rose with a number 1.
Yeah.
Tiger was wearing this shirt everywhere. So somebody on the Hype Beast forum was like, yo, what's the brand that Tiger's wearing? And that was like the second aha moment because, you want to make it the Hype Beast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't physically make it like they did a feature.
Right, but somebody, just to be mentioned on that level.
And somebody, people that freaking Hype Beast is aware of what's going on in the culture.
Right.
So it's kind of like now I'm in the culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because people on Hype Beast is now looking for the merch. Yeah. But it was a store out of L.A. called And Steel. And Steel was the first. It's called And Steel All the Envy. They like one of the original vintage stores, right? To where you can go get dead stock wrestling tees and
a lot of that stuff that we see coming back right now.
So Chris Brown and Tiger, this was their store,
right?
So And Steel was one of my accounts.
Oh, okay.
This was one of my accounts in L.A. So And Steel is carrying the product. So now Chris Brown and Tiger is seeing the product, but Tiger bought the product here.
Yeah.
So Tiger picked the shirt up, and when I tell you he bought a royal one and a black one, and for like 6 months it seemed like he wore them shirts every day. you know what I'm saying? And
walking billboard.
But Tiger was hot at the time.
Right.
It's young Tiger. He on fire now.
Yeah.
So this was like the beginning, man. Like it was crazy. Like Veil over success. Veil put them shirts on a lot of people.
That's what's up, man.
Man. So Sean Garrett, he was in the Future video. That's how that came from Veil. That came from success. Terrence J, 106 in Park. Veil and them called me one day. Like Marvin called me. He was like, man, you need to come down to the store and bring a particular shirt and a size.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for what? Like, you need to come now.
Right.
You know, but they
not
won't,
knowing what you're going there for.
Yeah, they won't tell me why, but they keep pressing like, you need to come now.
Right.
Right. So despite the sentence go out, I'm like, something up.
Yeah.
So I go to the store. His brother come down to get the shirt because Terrence, actually his girl, the chick he was dating or whoever, lived at the building down the street from Success.
Okay.
They came in the store. He had bought like 7 to 8 pair of shoes, and then he bought 5 shirts, and every shirt he bought was a Sneaker Fiend shirt. But one particular shirt they didn't have in his size, and that's what they was calling me for.
Right.
So when I come, his brother was like, "No, he want to meet you. He upstairs asleep, but I'm gonna wake him up." So he come downstairs, we chop it up, and then literally, it was a Bud Billiken weekend because he was here to do the Bud Billiken Day parade.
Oh yeah, if y'all know about the Bud, man, that's a very lit time in Chicago where everybody from these communities just come out and show love, and it's a nice parade to be going down.
So he come out, he come down, we chop it up. Tuesday, he had a shirt on. Like Tuesday, he wore one of the shirts, and like he went on a run that was unbelievable. Like he supported like between him and Q45, with Tiger, Terrence J, and DJ Q45 was repping like I was from their city, like I was their boy. Yeah, you know, and then it was you know, it was a good time. You know,
but man, before we wrap it up, I wanna speak on like a broader topic just before we wrap things up, and it's basically the importance of spending your money and devoting your time into helping people that's in shoulder reach of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how important is it for people like what you said Diego was doing, what you said VDOT was doing? Like I feel like we need to see a lot more of that. You know what I'm saying? Where people is actually trying to help the next man. You know what I'm saying? Next man up. I ain't saying you gotta help everybody. Everybody don't deserve that.
Right. People have to show themselves worthy of help. But those that do, you know what I'm saying? Can you speak on the importance of those moments and people actually using they position to as leverage to help the next person in? It's very important. Once again, no person is an island. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves. Right? Somebody opens the door. Somebody walks a person in. Somebody makes a suggestion. Somebody makes a phone call. And we have to put our petty differences and our egos aside. You got to want for other people the same thing you want for yourself, right? And if that's not what you're about, you're a very selfish, self-centered, lonely individual. Because what happens, people are going to eventually recognize it and get away from you. So we have to each one teach one. You know, you got to bring somebody along. You can't bring everybody along. Right. Some people not worthy. One of the biggest mistakes I made early in the game was anybody that wanted some information, I would give it to them. And they came back to bite me because those people became my enemies. Not necessarily my enemies, but they became oppositions. They became the ops. Yeah. And it's people that literally I showed and ushered in the game. It's people that I've seen do interviews and not once say, Big D turned me on. They'll get a glory to somebody else. Knowing you didn't even know this person when I schooled you. And it's cool because most people don't know me because I choose not to be known. Right. Right. You see what I'm saying? I've always been a popular person. I've always had confidence in me. So I don't need anything else to validate my existence on earth. Right. So a lot of people is doing these things for fame. I did these things to make money. You know, and what did a good job at it. And what came along with it because it was no ill intentions. And not only that, I was willing to share the information with anybody. The resources, the information. You ask me, I'll give it to you. Sometimes I would just volunteer because I see a person struggling. Right. You know, but most people don't have that in their nature. But that's why we're, as a race of people, are in the place we are. Facts. You know, and I tell you, man, you know, for a long time I used to have this whole mindset of who, you know, you think where the help gonna come from and you think who will reach for you. The one thing about when you're doing business and you in business, people that's in business are in business to make money.
Right.
And if they see you trying to make money or have potential to make money, I don't care. They can be pink, blue, yellow, purple. They're going to give you all the assistance you need. All you got to do is show them that you're about doing business.
Right.
Because they in it to make money. And if you spending money, I've got more resources from people that didn't look like me saying, hey, look, go over here. Hey, go over here. Hey, go over here. Listen, my printer is one of the biggest printers in this game. I'm going to put it like this. He's the backing behind Diamond Supply. If you go back and you look at Nick Diamond's story, Nick Diamond didn't have no money. The printer fronted him. The printer, the people would cut the check to the printer as a distribution company because he didn't have money. So
the printer, it's not like a printer. You talking about a company, right?
It's a company. The company, the guy that screened, the producer, the manufacturer that manufactured my product. It's the same manufacturer that manufactured your biggest streetwear companies in the world. It's the exact same guy. You can't even get to the table with this guy.
And I tell people that a lot because, you know, I travel a lot. I do a lot of interviews. And I try to tell people, like, man, like the power of your dollar, like our dollar should circulate a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Because we sit here and think just because we go to Macy's or Nordstrom's that we're going to find a higher quality, not knowing that you can get a Sneaker Fiends, you know what I'm saying, you can get a Leader shirt, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of options that's right up there, matching the same quality, everything is neck to neck. But just because this is a boutique and that's a big franchise, you think you're getting less, but you really getting just the same quality.
Now, that's not across the board because everybody don't do business the same.
No, right. So, certain companies, like I definitely pay attention to like Leaders because it's quality.
What I figured out was this. For me, my concept was every day I had to steal a sale. And what I mean by that, if a person came into the store, it's Sneaker Fiend, it's this company, and this company. He don't know nothing about Sneaker Fiend. But I had to steal a sale every day from one of those bigger companies.
Yeah.
So from the more recognizable brand, I need to steal a customer from them every day. If I can steal 1 to 2 a day in every store that I was in, I'll be successful. Right? So that was the mindset. So in that, the product had to be equal or greater than what else was already on the shelf.
Right.
That's the only way it can happen. So that product had to be able to be washed 200 times and still look the same.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't, you know, everybody's different, right? Everybody's philosophies are different.
Right.
But that's how I looked at how I did my business, because I was blessed to move beyond selling
just
out
locally.
The trunk of the car, just locally, at your neighborhood boutique, right? So now I'm in the top boutiques in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got all the top, from Juggernaut, Leaders, Success, St. Alfred's. Ain't too many of us been selling at St. Alfred's.
Yeah, that's a big fact.
I'm at St. Alfred's, right? Now, besides that, I'm at Carmelu. I'm at Man Alive. I'm at Finish Line, right? So now I'm distributed all over the United States. Not only that, I got stores in Paris, London, Germany, Canada, right? This product gotta speak for me.
Yeah.
This is my representative.
Yeah.
The product is my representative. So what the product says everything.
Yeah.
People don't know me. I chose not to be known.
Right.
The product had to do all the speaking.
Right.
So in that, you had to put out the highest quality product as possible.
Right.
And you know, once again, I don't know what drives someone else or what's on their mind when they wake up. When I wake up in the morning, it's making sure that I give you the best bang for your buck.
Hey, and just like that, man, like, can you tell the people where they can find you at so they can do a follow-up and make sure that they also not just hear your story, but also follow up and find you right now?
Right now, my only social media is Sneaker Fiend TEES on Instagram. You can find me there. You know, I'm posting regularly. New product. We relaunching the brand this spring. So we got a whole new lineup coming this spring that'll be available. And you know, as always, you'll be able to find us everywhere.
Hey,
You know,
a winner is a winner at the end of the day, man, no matter which way you slice it, you feel me? That's Flight School TV. I'm with Big D, and much appreciated, Big
appreciate you,
Dog.
God.
Gratitude. Flight School TV, we out.